and welcome back to Agents of Travel. I'm Rachel Vanis.
And I'm Garrett Palm. This is episode 5
of season 4. And this is the podcast where we interrogate people on all of their travel memories. And we both pitch them their dream trip.
Yeah, we use that data that they give us, these stories, so rich, full of information.
We run them through a machine with KPIs and analytics and
we strip
graphs
all the
and
life from it, and we just turned it into raw data.
We're like, they call us the chat GPTs of the tourism community.
So using that data, we then pitch them their dream trip. We each pitch them a dream trip, and they choose which one they would go on. Who got it right? Although it's never really like who gets it right, who gets it wrong. It's just
it
more,
is.
I mean, I don't know just because I always lose.
But this week we have a really exciting guest.
Shane Haste. He is a professional wrestler.
Is Haste his real last name?
No, it's his.
That's his
wrestler name.
I love that.
Yeah. Why do you love that? Why do you love Haste as the last name?
Because it means he's quick on the mat.
Yeah. He doesn't mess around. He takes you down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's currently working for Japanese wrestling company, but he used to be in WWE, and he goes to Japan and wrestles.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So he works and he travels.
So, real quick before we get to it, please like and subscribe. Leave us a review.
Say hi.
I'd love to see 5 stars and just hi.
Hi.
If anybody wants to do 5 stars and just put in hi.
Just know you'll make us laugh.
You'll make us laugh. All right. Let's head on out.
And went for a swim for the first time, and now I'm deaf.
Your ears full of
I don't know, water, or they're just broken. I don't know.
Yeah. Did you feel them pop underwater or anything?
I don't know. I don't remember.
You just haven't been able to hear since?
It does feel. It is that feeling like there's water in there, and I keep trying to get it out, and I'm like, what if there's nothing in there, and I'm just making it worse? Like, you know when you get like a sore muscle and you keep trying to like stretch it out, and you're like, well, no, I pulled that muscle, so stretching it, all I'm doing is making it worse. So it's just like, just leave it. You just got to leave it alone. But it's like,
oh no. So are you still having trouble hearing now?
Yeah, it's a little weird in that left ear.
That is a bummer.
Yeah. I know.
Which is, I think it's because I sleep with earplugs in. So I think I've gaped my ear hole.
Oh god. Basically you've had inner ear gauges, basically.
My ear hole. So yeah, I don't know, man.
Wait, why do you sleep with earplugs? Are you just a really light sleeper?
I found out that I am. My wife snores from time to time, but it's like now we have 2 dogs, and dogs are so loud. They're just always licking themselves, and they snore. Dogs snore too.
Yeah, so. I know, but like I don't know. We talk about this where occasionally one of us, Rachel or I, will snore. And it drives the other person crazy. Yeah. But then when Danny snores, we're like, oh.
I'm like, now I can sleep. Yeah, all is well with the world.
No, even when I'm alone, I still sleep with earplugs in. Yeah, it's just a habit that I've gotten into, and it's that deprivation that I like.
Yeah.
So.
But you have some really crazy dreams.
No. not that I was thinking
like those sensory deprivation
things where they immerse you in that. Nah,
you don't hallucinate every night.
No, not that I remember. Yeah, like that's a weird, isn't that the thing? Like your dreams just come in and out, and like even when you wake up, you're like, that was a crazy dream. Oh, I got to tell someone about it. 2 minutes passes, and you're like, oh, I had this dream, and I don't know.
I don't remember anything.
It's like that raccoon who puts the cotton candy who goes to wash cotton candy and it disappears in his fingers.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video? Yeah.
No, I haven't seen the video, but I can imagine.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, he's devastated.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand where it goes.
Raccoons are great.
Oh, yeah. I love those
friendlier.
Guys.
I know. I'm surprised nobody's tamed raccoons yet.
I'm sure some
people
tried.
Definitely have.
But I think they're tame like people have bears. or like other, like they're tame or sure to a degree.
I follow
Yeah.
a couple Instagram raccoons.
I know, but
I think it's
Heard
more of a
interesting.
thing in the South.
Yeah.
I think they're
But
still like wild tame.
Yeah,
They're,
and
like-
then they just leave food out for them or something, and then
No, they like live in their house with their dog.
See, I would not trust that. You just
I
wake up
know.
one like say I've heard things like that with like possums,
yeah,
and then one day the possum just
or like
eats the
Goes
cat.
nuts.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be. I'm sure there'll be like a chimp lady, tiger king thing
Yes.
of just like what are those marsupials? Are they they're not marsupials, are they? Or are they?
chimps?
Possums are.
Possums are.
Possums
I don't-
and raccoons.
Raccoons,
What are they?
think
What are raccoons?
Marsupials?
I think they are. Do they have pouches? Well, to be a marsupial,
you
you've got to
need
have
to
a
have a
pouch,
pouch.
right?
Yeah.
Just what a
What the fuck
What a-
is a raccoon?
what's the
Well-
yeah.
Okay, we're changing the podcast.
It's like a
to
what
the fuck is a
raccoon?
raccoon?
But Shane, all jokes aside, we have to come clean.
I wasn't joking.
us either.
Neither were we.
Neither were we. But we have to be honest with you.
Yeah,
now
we
that
are
you-
not who we say we are. Speaking of what is it?
Uh huh.
Who are we?
You're both a bunch of raccoons.
We're
aren't
both-
you?
We're both two raccoons. I wish.
I know.
No, instead, we're just secret travel agents.
For the
Oh.
National Travel and Tourism Office, otherwise known as
Tato.
NTATO.
Oh no, I've heard of this just now.
Okay, I was gonna say we're
On the dark web, I've heard of this.
Yeah, we're pretty big on the dark web.
yeah. Dark web loves us.
That's when you set the layout to night mode.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
dark
yeah.
web
That's
is.
what dark web is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And as secret travel agents,
Yes.
you may know us as Garrett and Rachel, but we have secret travel agent names.
But these are your real names.
Eventually we don't even know
Oh, wow.
anymore. You
Blurred the
become
line.
so attached to your
Audi.
everyday name, your Audi, your innie.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm sure as a wrestler, you
Yeah.
have like the wrestler persona, and like you, and then
You're
what's-
constantly like, am I Shane or am I Shane?
Yeah, that's it. Which, yeah, 100%. That's
Yeah.
the
yeah.
blurring the lines of reality.
Well, I am Secret Agent Pannenkoeken, which is Dutch for pancake.
Oh,
And-
nice.
I am secret agent sticky toffee pudding because that's my favorite dessert from Britain. But it's my favorite dessert overall, but
Yeah.
it's from Britain.
It's also English for sticky toffee.
Yeah, it's
Pudding.
also
Yeah, I was
English
gonna
for
ask,
sticky
what is
toffee.
that?
Yeah.
But how would you say that in English?
Actually, there is a bit of translation to be had because it's not a pudding like we Americans. I
Not
mean,
a-
you're
not a
you're
pud.
Australian,
Yeah.
So it's more.
And I'm quarter Dutch as well.
you're quarter
Oh,
Dutch.
wow.
Oh, Rachel, you're
Or I'm
half
like,
Dutch?
or I'm half Dutch. I forget. We've talked about
You
this.
have to decide.
My dad's born in Australia, but both of his parents are full-blooded Dutch. So he'd be Dutch.
He'd be half.
Yeah. So you are
Oh,
half
Dutch.
Dutch.
Oh
So-
yeah, you
yeah.
are. We're
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
half Dutch.
Yeah.
So you could
Hey.
be. You could take
I could
the mantle
be
of
Pannenkoeken.
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 Pantakaken.
I'm Pantataken.
Pants are taken.
Yeah.
So we are tasked. We are interns right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
For Intato, and we are tasked to find people, interrogate them,
Oh, shit.
and come
Mm-hmm.
up with their dream trip.
Okay. That's because people are too dumb to think of their own.
Exactly.
Well, we can think of our own, but they're going to be wrong.
exactly.
Yeah, well,
I-
and Chat GPT is ruining people's imagination.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Yeah. What's an imagination?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Gronk, tell me what my you know what I mean? Gronk,
yeah.
is this my dream vacation?
Yeah.
Is it Gronk or Grok?
I think it's Grok.
Okay.
Grok.
Yeah.
Gronk,
Gronk is the football player.
Yeah, Gronk, he's like, oh yeah, man, that sounds great.
Well, and have you,
Florida.
as you've said, you don't really dream.
Yes.
So or remember them. So
No.
we're
So
here to
we're
fill
here
that
to
void.
fill that void.
Yeah.
So Shane,
I could have had my dream vacation and just forgotten,
yeah, I know, and we're
Probably.
which
We
definitely
probably
makes
know
sense.
it. Yeah.
CTT is a hell of a
We're
drug.
gonna. Do you consent to being interrogated?
I consent.
Okay, good. We're actually not that tough of interrogators.
Oh, you're only
So don't worry.
interns.
I know
Yeah.
we're only interns.
Actually, you could be
and-
wild interns. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know we
Yeah.
could be, but I mean, you are a wrestler, and
Uh-huh.
I don't think we could really take you?
Well, depends who's booked to win.
Okay. Fair.
Hey, I'll kick your ass if that's what I'm told to do. If that's what they tell me. And this is your show. You're the ones booking it. So
that's a good point.
Wow.
Yeah, and you should be like a smart booker and make yourself champ.
Yeah. All right.
No, it hasn't worked yet.
Travel champs.
Speaking of booking, Shane, what was the first trip that turned you on to travel?
I say so I know this is a travel podcast, but I'm not really that much of a traveler. I do travel a lot,
yes.
and I have done a lot of traveling, but I very much am a homebody. I'm a stubborn homebody because, and I'm very thankful for my wife that she likes to travel and book these things because I'm like, I wouldn't. I just sit. My travel would be from one room to another, but then as soon as we do go out, I do love it. I do love going to things and then. Like we used to do a lot of family vacations up to like Bali, Indonesia around there, and around Australia. And that was kind of ones that your parents would force you on. Though the Bali ones were good because they were for like birthday parties and that. But when I first started working in Japan and traveling in and around Japan, it wasn't me booking any of it. It was that I'd go work for the company. We'd have shows on the road, get on a tour bus and travel around. But it's those experiences being on that tour bus, not having to worry about where I'm going, the driving, any of that, and just looking out the window and seeing different scenery, especially in Japan, just different times of the year, like going through the same road, seeing it like in summer, in fall, in winter. And it's just such a beautiful thing of like, you fall asleep on the bus, like open your eyes and you're by the beach coast. You close your eyes, you're in a forest in between mountainsides, and then like, oh damn, there's a castle over there. And it's like, the next town that I'm in, I'm just gonna look up if there's a castle, you know what I mean, things like that. It definitely places with old history I do like. Especially as you get older, you're like, ooh, old things good. When you're young, you're like, I want to be in the new place. But then you're like, man, I want to see old things. And then trying to comprehend, like going to some of these like castles in Japan that are hundreds of years old, that are like there's things that like, this is 1,000 years old. Like, living in Australia and America, there's not a lot. I mean, there is, but like building
we've kind
wise
of
and
ruined
stuff like,
all of it.
There isn't that human history. I mean, you can go to like a national park and be like, that rock's a million years old. Like, but I don't know. Like,
all the human history we got rid of.
When
we came in and we were like, no, this stuff doesn't count.
Starbucks would be better there.
But it is crazy. Like in Japan, even we did like a tea ceremony while we were there, and they're like, we have been doing this tea ceremony for over 1,000 years. It's crazy to think like you guys have been this fancy for this long.
Insane. It's like where the tea ceremony in American Australia is like, order this, boom, name wrong. So we have culture.
Black tea for shine.
That's me.
Shine.
I get shine a lot.
Really?
Sean more so. I got shine in Japan a lot.
Oh, okay.
That actually feels like it would be your Japanese wrestler name.
Shine.
Would be Shine.
Shine.
It'd be cute.
Do you ever go back to Japan on your own? Do you ever go to those spots in between on the bus that you're like, oh, what about that place?
No, once. No, but once when my wife Kimmy came, we stayed, like I was going for work, but we went in 2 weeks earlier and did the tour stuff. And then at one point years ago, my parents came to visit and did a thing. And so it was at those points I was like, all right, I'll show them around. They're like, is there anything you want to do? And they're like, they've looked up the touristy things, and it's like rediscovering a city that I've lived in. And I get the same thing in LA too when my sister came and they're like, I want to try this. I'm like, what? Where I'm like, if it's on my own, I'm like, it's too much traffic. I'll never find parking. I'll never do it. But then when I do like to go along and show people stuff when they're here.
I do love that, like when people come to visit you, especially when you live in a place that people want to come visit. Or like people, just people coming to visit, like when I lived in New York too, but like LA, there's so much here that is touristy that, like when Rachel's dad comes, we do like a lot tour, which I never would do on my own.
And it was fun.
It was great.
It's also like I forget museums exist until family comes into town. And I'm like, what are all the museums here?
Yeah.
Which lot tour did you do?
We did Paramount with him.
Okay. That sounds cool.
Yeah. It's like
fun.
a pretty easy one to do. It's like, right here. And
The coolest
it's
thing
fun.
we learned in it was that with oh no, now I don't even remember the movie. I think it was the Titanic that they filmed it in reverse. There was like a part with water that they did.
Oh yeah, was it the Titanic? But yeah, they have this.
They like
So the boat
rewound
came,
it.
The boat came out of the water.
And then they repair it.
Yeah.
They're like, this is a much easier way to do it.
It was like Jaws or something, but there was like one of these things where like
it
they filmed
It
it
wasn't Jaws.
and then played it backwards.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
The Jaws thing is the only shark that swims backwards.
The Jaws.
The Jaws shark is the only shark
so
that can
that's
swim
swim
backwards.
backwards.
Yeah, they
Oh,
can
yeah,
swim
yeah.
backwards.
Well, yeah.
Because it's not a real shark, but
Because and you see it go backwards.
Yeah.
And that's
if
what
you
makes
look
him
behind
scary.
You in the tour at Universal.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Like we did that when my older sister came, and Kimmy and I were like, it was to get a season pass for us was as cheap as getting two going twice. And we're like, well, we'll get the season pass, and we live 10 minutes from it. We went that time that I went with my sister, and then we went the day before us.
So it was all worth
So we got the money. We only got exactly our money's worth.
Yeah.
It is wild though, where you're like, we're 10 minutes away, and I just can't bring myself to go.
Yeah.
But it is like back to that, like having somebody come visit you is a good way to it is fun to pretend to be a tourist in your home city.
Yeah. And then you end up being an actual tourist in your own city.
Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of, I don't know, it's enjoyable. It's a whole new way to see your home.
That's it.
I feel like sometimes we'll do that kind of like, let's do something like touristy here and like kind of like, I don't know, do something out of the norm that a tourist would do, I guess. I don't know. I can't remember. I feel like we've done that before. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm sure we have.
Shane.
Yes.
Tell us a story about your best trip.
So that would be that time that we did, we went for Christmas. So we were at Christmas, New Year's in Japan.
Yeah.
And we went into Nara. Have you heard of Nara?
Yeah, the deer
we went there for Christmas. We were in Japan for Christmas a couple of years ago. We went to Nara. Yeah.
So it wasn't, it was around Christmas time, but like we went and did 2 nights in Nara. 1 or 2? 2. And we got like our own private onsen up in the mountains and stuff like that.
Oh, hell
and it's just like, we were in Tokyo so you take the train to Tokyo, from Tokyo to Kyoto, and then a smaller train to there, then a bus, and I'm just like, that sounds like too much effort, but I'm like, let's do it. And it was literally the best thing. And I'm like, we want to be around deer? That's disgusting. And then they're just like big dogs.
Yeah.
They're so fun. And then just like the onsen up in the mountains and that, the very traditional thing. To me, I don't like spending money on myself. So like I'll just sit in the hotel room and do nothing and not spend money.
Yeah, just sit there like, this is cheap.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, I spend
and
no
what's
money.
great about this is that I'm not spending money.
Yeah. It's like then tax time comes around. They're like, "How did you spend any money?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Well, give me that money anyway."
Yeah.
Like, well, if you had spent it, I'm like, damn. So spend a bit of money, people.
Yeah.
They're gonna get it some way. But yeah, that was just unbelievable. It was great, nice, like cool enough weather that you could walk around and not get sweaty. And Nara has a lot of like the little. What are they? The little mall things. I forget what they're called in Japanese, but just like
Tanuki.
They're like little just strip mall things where the undercover, indoor like shops. They have a name.
Yeah,
the indoor outdoor
arcade.
Shops. Yes,
like,
an arcade.
Yeah,
things like that. And then you walk for 2 minutes the other way, and you're in a park with 100 deer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all these little arcades have such hole in the wall food and restaurants and stuff like that are so cheap.
Yeah.
Then just being alone up in the mountains was amazing too.
So well, you went for Christmas with your family though, right? Or
that
was it
Kimmy.
with Kimmy?
With Kimmy, with my wife.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because do you like to when you are traveling, are you like, I like to be in a big group, I like just one person is plenty? Are you like, I just prefer to stare out a bus window by myself?
So when we would do the family, so we went to Bali twice as a family for my parents, each of my parents' 50th, and then they had all their friends and their families came. So we were in big groups, But it's good to be in like a big group where you can go and do your own stuff.
Yeah.
Like we did some group activities. Like there was one thing we did in Bali where we took a small boat to a small island, and we all had like mopeds, and and then we just got lost on the island and moped. But there was like 10 or 15 of us all just in different places, and then they're just like, at this time meet back at the restaurant where the boat's at.
How old were you?
I would have been, I think 18, 19.
That sounds...
God, that must have been sick as hell.
Yeah, it was sweet. And you're just like because you can only get so lost, and we managed to get lost on this island, but it's like, I don't know, just keep going down this road, and there's no real roads. There are only like about 6 foot wide roads, enough for mopeds or bikes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you just keep going, and then we found people, like and we didn't have like Google Maps and stuff like on our phones. We had like old flip phones or whatever, but you just keep going, and you found it. Like you like the whole island, you could do a circle of the whole island in probably 20 minutes, especially on a motorbike. You know what I mean? So that was good fun. And that was like a big group, and we all did that, and you'd like, someone would go, I'm going to go left. And you're like, all right, they're going left. I'm going to go right. What did you see that way? This. And then, so there is that shared experience, stuff like that. And then everyone going out to dinner. Kind of
coming together at the...
going out to dinners and stuff like that. And I don't know. I imagine as you're getting older, it gets more annoying because who's paying kind of thing. As, you know, a late teen and there for my parents thing, they paid for it. So I don't have to worry about the bill there.
Yeah. So you talked about when you're like going through the arcades in like the mall arcades in Japan, like all the different little shops and like cheap restaurants. Do you like when you are traveling, when you're in Japan for work? Like, do you seek out food?
Should we also combine this with the next question?
I thought he was just doing a sneaky sec. I thought you were doing a sneaky.
You're right.
I mean, I have no idea of the questions.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, what's the tastiest thing you've eaten on a trip?
See, it's a hard one too, because I'm not a big foodie, but I do like food, and then I go through phases where I'm like, no, be cheap. But you're saying like those walking around and finding, I do that a lot more now. I think that like as you get older, you get your patience, you get way more patience, which does give you that like to walk around, and like when you're younger, you're just like, that I know this, I just want to get that. And so this, I do like to try the places like the hole in the wall, ramen stores, things like that, rather than the big franchises, you know, because I've done that, you know what I mean? So it is taking a chance, and especially now with like, you got Google Translate on your phone, you can just like hold it up to a menu and this and that.
Opened up the world.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier to like, I'll try that. But then also it's like, I don't know, I'll try the top thing on the list. Like, let's just give that a crack. There's a good spot there's a couple of them around Japan called Ramen War, and that's my favorite ramen place. They do like a al dente ramen, so it's a little it's a little chewier, like, which I knew of the word al dente. I didn't know that's what it meant, and I didn't realize that's what I liked. Even in regular pasta and stuff, man, I love al dente. I like it to be a little chewier, and then that in ramen is great. But ramen's such a good thing too. Of like, there's so many different places, and we were on the road, and we go to these the truck stops, like the rest stops. They have heaps of those in Japan, but they make all the ramen and stuff fresh there a lot of the time. So even those can be like, I'm like, that's one of the best bowls of ramen I've ever had. Like, it's insane.
Have you seen the show? It's a Japanese show. I forget the exact
Ramen
name.
Detective.
Yeah, I think it's Ramen Detective. He plays, it's like a travel food show in Japan. He's a Japanese man who plays a detective on a case to find Japan's best ramen. And so he's like, he's got the flip notepad, and he's like interrogating, you know, the shop owners and like tasting it, and then like, you know, like giving his like opinion, and he's like a detective on the case for Japan's best ramen. It's very fun.
So funny, man. I like that, stuff like that.
Because it's like limitless there.
But it's also, you know, food's subjective.
Yeah, I know.
So it's like, what's best for you might not be for someone else.
He's going to get to the bottom of it.
It's very, same like, I was just up in San Francisco last week or the week before that recently, and I just went to this random place north of San Fran, and it was called like Pub Republic, and it was near where I was staying, and I was like popped in because it apparently had a whole bunch of taps. Or half the taps were out, so I was like, well, that's great. But they had a shepherd's pie, and I was like, that sounds great. And dude, this is one of the best shepherd's pie. I'm just sitting at this bar with this small thing, and I'm like, this is one of the best shepherd's pies I've ever had. It just didn't try too hard. It wasn't greasy. Instead of like minced meat in there or ground beef, it had like chopped up beef, like in a different kind of, not like cubed or diced, but like shredded beef. Had like Brussels sprouts, but like half Brussels sprouts, like just big chunky bits of potato and vegetables. Yeah. Like it wasn't greasy with cheese. Yeah, it was. I was like, this is really good, really hearty. I'm like, this is fantastic.
Pub Republic. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's also hard where like the food you discover, you're like, I didn't even know I wanted shepherd pie, and this is one of the best I've ever had. Yeah. Whereas if you're like seeking a place out and you're like, I've heard their shepherd's pie is like out of this world.
Yeah.
Like, it's like gonna be a different experience.
You see on Instagram, best shepherd's pie ever.
Yeah.
And you're like,
that'd be this. Yeah, I did see on the menu they had shepherd's pie, and that's a reason why I went there. Because there was a food truck near there too that someone was like, you have to go there, it's the best. And I went there the day before, and I had Dorado tacos.
Tacos Dorados.
Yeah, and that was amazing too. I had I had a chicken one, a pork one, and a beef one. I'm like, I should have just got the beef. Their grilled beef was amazing. So that was a good one. And then we were went to like England and Ireland recently last year, and just finding like a pub. I love pub food, especially English pub food.
I know, it's so good.
A pub breakfast is so good. Like an Irish hearty breakfast, it just hits the spot, man.
I know. Our favorite. We've spent a lot of time in Edinburgh, and our favorite is just like a full Scottish breakfast. We get the vegetarian version. We're veggie, but like it just like hits so well, especially for like if you have a long day ahead of you. It's like perfect.
No, it makes like their breakfasts make sense, and like they've been doing that for thousands of years too. You know what I mean? Like they nailed breakfast.
Yeah. Really well, I love a breakfast that's like, it is small, like a bunch of small bites. Like you're stuffed by the end, but it's like everybody showed up. Yeah. It's like you've got like you've got
the patty scone, you've got the mushrooms.
Beans.
The mushrooms are so good. Just big mushrooms. And it's like usually it's like $10. You know what I mean? It's cheap as shit.
And wait, I'm curious. In Australia, do they have? Is there like a classic breakfast, or did the English breakfast make it over there?
It's similar. It's a similar thing. Like baked beans, bacon, eggs, and toast.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's a very basic Australian breakfast.
One thing I want to ask, and kind of there's a bit of general, but like you talk a lot about the price and the cheap and saving money. Like I just like, I see how you are half Dutch, like Rachel.
Yeah.
I'm a very financially minded
frugal
traveler as well.
So does that affect like how you feel a meal is, like how you see a meal?
Yeah, 100%. Steak dinners and stuff like that. Like a lot of steakhouses to me are a waste of money.
Yeah.
And I love steak, but I love like Longhorns. Have you ever been to Longhorn Steakhouse?
No.
We're both vegetarian.
Oh man, they got good bread. There was one, I used to live in Orlando, and like 5 minutes down the road was Longhorn Steakhouse, and we used to just go there because it was the closest one.
Yeah.
You can get a 24-ounce steak with 2 sides included in that for $20. It was like $25. Fantastic, huge and filling. Like you're full. You go to a steakhouse like a Ruth Chris, and you're spending $40 for just that same size steak on its own, and then you got to spend $10 for sides. I'm like, mate, I'm paying $50 for this steak. Throw in some like chips or some shit. You know what I mean? Throw in some mashed potato.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll say like we went to Colombia this year or this past year, and like I love when I'm in a country where I can do the math of like, oh, this meal was actually just $4, or oh, this meal was actually just $3. So it almost like I'll feel that like knee-jerk reaction of like, oh no, I spent money. And then I'll be like, but not that much.
Yeah.
Like where I'm like, this is so much cheaper than just living back home.
Yeah. That, or like, I'm like, I could have cooked this myself. Like,
Yeah.
I could have made this myself. Like, especially, I have chicken every day. So I'm never going to order chicken out at a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need, even if it's fancy chicken, I'm like, nah, that's just chicken with sauce on it. I can cook that. I can make that. Seafood, I would prefer someone else to prepare it. I think, I can cook a steak at home, but I will overcook it. I won't get it right. Longhorns do a great steak, so that makes me happy. We need more of them in LA. There's only 2, I think. And they're all down south. They're so far away.
Yeah. But you got to make the trek from time to time. That's the thing that gets you out of your house.
We did it once for my birthday, and it was like we had to reserve. And I'm like, reserve? I never had to reserve for Longhorn. It's like a Red Lobster, you know what I mean? Imagine having to reserve for Red Lobster. But I guess because there's only 2 of them.
Yeah, they get busy enough.
There are a lot of people like you out here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people who've had it before, and we need that fix again.
Yeah.
I love buttery steaks. Yeah.
So, Shane, what tourist attraction has lived up to the hype?
Nara's definitely that lived up to the hype, and it didn't get hyped too much for me, but like enough. Recently going, so I've been to San Fran before. So here's the thing: I'm a bridge enthusiast.
Oh,
wow!
Really?
That's good to know.
Yeah, I love bridges, but like we went to San Fran and we walked along the coasty bit and like where you can see Alcatraz and Golden Gate Bridge, and I'm like
Chrissy Park,
Chrissy Fields,
maybe, and I'm like, nah. I'm like, it's too showy. I'm like, I don't like that.
Whoa, you thought the the Golden Gate Bridge is too ostentatious?
Yeah, I was like, whatever, man. It's like, I like more underground.
That's a hot
take. I like bridges that are more like underground that people don't know about.
I like a bridge that's underground.
Like no one's ever discovered this bridge. Like, but then the other week I drove over the Golden Gate Bridge and I'm like, that's amazing.
You're going nuts.
And I'm like, okay, this is cool as shit. Yeah.
So when you're up on a bridge, you're like losing your mind.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's down south of Japan, as you start to get to where it's more islandy, there are some of the most incredible bridges that just connect. And you're on these bridges for miles.
Yeah.
And like you look down, and especially like when it gets into the wintertime and it's fog, and you're just on a bridge and you can't see the end of it.
Yeah.
You know
Which is like your dream, never-ending bridge.
Never-ending bridge, man. And it's like, there's one down there. I don't know what it's called, but and it's just you're there, and then there's like a rest stop halfway on a halfway island. Yeah, and you can't see the end of the bridge that way, and you can't see the end of the bridge the other way. There's Sky Bridge in Japan as well, which is like there's Rainbow Bridge, which is another like showy one. And I'm like, all right, man. I've seen. I used to live somewhere where I could go out and just see it every day, every night. But then the other way, towards more the industrial area of Ariake, there's one called Sky Bridge, and just from the distance, it lights up blue at night, and it's just like it's very basic. It kind of looks like those things where it's the water reflects it. The thing above it, and so it looks like it's mirrored. It kind of looks like that, So I'm a big fan of Sky Bridge.
Wait, I've got a question. So when you're on a bridge, are you thinking about like walk me through like what's going through your brain that makes it so high? Because sometimes when I'm on a bridge, I'm like, ooh, this is a little high.
Yeah, no.
I think of people jumping off.
Yeah, but then it's like, so what? You know what I mean? Like,
so what?
So I think
cool that we've made this.
It's like just trying to look up without crashing, but like how like it's the same thing when you're in a city with like high buildings and you look. I think it's that there's probably a term for it of that the enjoyment of being around big things like when you go to national parks and there's big rock faces and stuff like that. Like there's an awe to that.
So when you're feeling that awe, are you like looking down? Are you like looking straight across the bridge?
I try to. Like it's easier on the buses because I'm not driving. But when I was going through, I'm trying to like let's just see how far away things are. Like how you're on this big thing, but then there's so much space around you. And I'm like thinking, like man, like Godzilla smashed through this.
Historically speaking,
There was another thing where we were near, like on that beach, the shorefront, and I'm like, wow, can you believe Magneto moved that?
There's
That's
such
awesome.
history
Kimmy
here.
was like, what? There's so much history here. But then I was thinking about that too. Like, like while I'm on the bridge, I'm like, what if Godzilla just comes up and smashes? It's like, whatever, man.
It almost feels like the bridges like spark your imagination the most.
Yeah.
For something that someone else already created. And
But it's like,
imagined.
there's this big open space all around you.
Yeah, but you're also on this huge thing. And have you been on the bridge?
Which
The bridge?
On the
Which
Have
one?
you been on a bridge? Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and how it's
Walked across it.
five lanes, which
Yeah.
is insanely bad planning from the beginning.
Yeah.
But then they've got that divider that moves.
yeah,
I only saw that
depending
for the
on when-
first time. Thinking that, like, as I was coming in, it was like lanes changing, and I'm like, oh, great, there's going to be one lane down. But yeah, that thing and it's like,
Yeah.
tuk, 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 and it snakes it off to the other lane.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's genius. I mean, it would have been smart to just make it 6 lanes,
Yeah, I know.
but I mean, too
But
late now.
But it's like, dependent on rush hour.
Yeah,
So it's like,
switch
yeah,
it's
to plan it.
great.
Yeah.
Like, if you can plan it that way to get in there. Once you get kind of past there into San Fran, not a fan.
Really?
Whoa,
I
too
love San
is it just too
Francisco.
crowded or what?
Well, not the. Just I'm saying driving. Like, 'cause
Oh,
I was
you don't
at
like
the
driving
airport, and
there,
it's like you got a freeway or what? There's like, how is there not a better way to get?
Yeah,
I have to
the
drive
bridge.
through
Yeah,
this like
the
suburbia.
101 and one
Mm-hmm.
kind of like
And it's just
are
like
weird
red light,
there. Yeah,
red light,
yeah.
red light. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Though around there is, I think San Francisco has some of the best dog parks in the world.
yeah,
So go next time you're up with your dogs.
Yeah.
Fort Funston and Crissy Field.
yeah.
Awesome.
There you go.
But
Hmm.
question about bridges: have you done the Keys? Driven out to the Keys?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
How does that rate? Because that's just. Is that like enough of a bridge, or is that just like a road, elevated road?
That's just an elevated road. for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Okay.
it's okay. Like, but I like steel structure.
Yeah, you need
Oh.
that.
Yeah.
that
Well, do you enjoy
showiness.
like walking across like an Indiana Jones bridge? Is that exciting?
Ooh,
Oh.
that would be fun. Yeah, I've not done that, like a rope bridge. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool. But I do like more like that steel thing with the rivets in it and stuff like that. I don't know. There's like Pittsburgh or something like that, and they've got like heaps
yeah.
of those old
They do,
train
yeah.
bridges and stuff like that. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
pretty nice. They're pretty cool.
I love that this podcast could now be, is this a bridge?
I know.
No, that's a road.
Yeah. Okay. Shane.
Yes.
What has been your biggest fish out of water moment? The time you felt the.
So it's ironic that it's actually about being in water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Years and years ago, when I was probably in my mid-20s, so put your mind frame in that of a
Okay.
mid-20s boy.
Yeah.
We were.
I can do that
I
easy.
cannot remember where in Japan we were. Oh, Japan. And after a show, they told us like this area is famous for hot springs, and like, well, do you guys want to go to this hot spring? We're like, sure. And like, do we need to bring anything? And they're like, no. We're like, cool. So we all get on the, there's like all of us like foreigners, there's about 5 or 6 of us, and we're all around the same age, if not younger. And we get on the bus, and the manager guy who's with us takes us to these hot springs, and they're outside, natural hot springs by a river. Amazing. And we're
I
like,
need to know
oh
where
wow.
these
I'm like,
are.
cool. This is a fun thing. It's nighttime. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, and then the Japanese guys just start taking all their clothes off, and we're like, what? What's going on? And they're like, that's why they didn't. We think like, do we need to bring swimwear or whatever? They're like, no, because in their mind they're like, no, you just get butt naked. And
Yeah,
and there's just like some towels there or whatnot. So we're kind of like, ooh, and like get the little hand towels, and we're like,
Yeah.
shy and come around. And we get in there, and it's just like a bunch of old dudes with just full bush out,
Yeah.
mushroom farmers, you know what they call it. But then there's also like women there too. It's just men and women there who are like,
Yeah. There are some co-ed ones.
yeah, and this because this is a natural hot spring, so it's out in the wild and
Yeah.
like
Oh, that's,
the
yeah.
sky up above and that. So like I'm covered in tattoos, so I can't go to privately owned ones. But this
Yeah,
one
yeah.
was not a problem. But yeah, it's just like. Okay, and it was so hot. Like the hot springs were way too hot, but we were trying to like get in there so that we could like hide our shame, while all these like Japanese dudes don't give a none of them.
Yeah,
like, the
yeah.
men and
Which
women
is
So
there.
used to it. Yeah.
Which is crazy too, because if you guys would just like, if you guys had just like acted normal, like no one would look at you.
No one cares.
But
No,
because
but
you're
nobody
being all
cares.
like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
no, don't
they
look
they
at
weren't
me.
looking at us either. They didn't
Yeah,
care.
yeah,
they
they
didn't
didn't
care.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't care. They're like, that was like so. We went on a cruise, like a bit of a cruise ship from the mainland up to Hokkaido.
Yeah.
We took an overnight ferry, and that had like the bathroom. So like that's a big thing of their like Japanese culture is like the onsens and the showering rooms. And I've got like they're body hair people, you know what I mean? So it's like weird to see someone clean shaven from the front. So I'm like, oh, I don't want them to see that I'm like I've shaved my pubes. But then I've got like I have a tattoo on my butt as well. So I'm like I'm like in the
There's no way you can show all of it.
I'm like and now I'm older. I'm like I don't give a shit. Like, I'm one of the old guys.
It kind of makes you realize that, or I don't know how it is. Like at least in the U.S., I feel like we think we're like so like sort of like open or liberal or like whatever.
In
and
parts
then
of the US.
in parts of the US, and then you realize like how prudish we kind of actually are, where it's like, I know for me going to like Korean spas and stuff where like you're all naked, or having done that in like Iceland, it's like at first I was so scared, and then it's like you realize like, oh, we all look kind of weird. This is nice.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's also in Australia. So I don't know if this is true about America, but like in Australian schools, we after gym or whatever, we don't all hit the showers together and stuff like that. Like in America, guys go play sport and then everyone hits the showers.
Yeah,
we never did that in school in Australia.
You just smell like ass the rest of the day and call it good.
Individual stalls.
We had individual stalls. You know what I mean? And our toilets didn't have big gaps in the doors like America loves.
It is like I don't know, my college, my dorm for all 4 years of college was a giant, the bathroom was a giant shared shower. Yeah. Just like with 3 shower heads in a big room. And to me at first that was so weird. Yeah. Because I didn't do sports in high school, so I never had that experience. And so then going to college and then just like sharing a shower with all my all the people that lived on the same floor as me, like it took me a second, and I was like, you just do this, I guess, like, like, and then like you just get used to it, and then like going to Iceland, it was like those shared showers before you get into the hot springs, like everybody has to shower, and there's a guy there watching you shower to make sure you do it right. And as a foreigner, he's especially watching you. Make sure you get your ass cracked. But like, but like, it is like but then you look around and it's like nobody cares. Nobody's looking at you except for that one guy. And like
that one guy.
Yeah, that one
I'd say like when you get like a drug test and someone has to watch you pee and you're like, oh, I'm like, dude, he's probably seen the most disgusting dicks you've ever. Like he's probably seen shit. I'm like, oh, I'm shy, but I'm like, everything's in order. He's seen smaller. He's seen uglier.
I will say there was one time we went to a place called Brighton Bush in Oregon where they're like, everybody's nude. It like feels kind of like they only serve vegan food. It's very much this like hippie-ish kind of like spa sort of thing. It's really cool. Yeah. But I was on my period when I went. So I was like trying to tuck the string of my tampon to hide it. And that was like a constant stressor, just being like, I can't let anybody know. Anyway, something you both can relate to.
I can totally relate.
I get it. I get it.
I can hear both of you guys go,
No, I'm not just thinking. I'm like, but surely there's like
others
doing that too. I'm like, what's like the worst? Someone's like, oh, sorry, you got something there, and they try to get it, someone's got like a little bit of lint on their shoulder or something. You got something there. Oops.
Oh no.
Whoops. Okay.
I know. I wasn't like ready to wear a Diva cup at that point, but I think
which
that would be the move. At
that place, everybody else was.
I don't think it was popular at the time.
No, it's been popular.
All right, whatever.
For certain crowds. For the Brighton Bush crowd,
Yeah. They've been in on that.
Shane, if you could step into any moment from your travels anytime you wished, what quintessential perfect moment would you pick?
Man, that's like such a thing of like and this is like when you're getting older, and I'm not even that old, but like of what if I did this, what if I did that, and then you're like, if you do that, you just end up stuck in the past thinking of that, and you get depressed of where you are now, which is the same thing of like, oh man, it was so much better back then.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a big fan of nostalgia. I'll get into it.
I love it.
Yeah, Rachel's a big nostalgia head.
I love nostalgia, and that's why everything is marketed towards that these days.
Yep.
Because it is it's a dopamine.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we were in Dublin, and that was just I love pub culture, and I love an Irish pub, and the best thing about Ireland is every pub is an Irish pub. You know what I mean? And we just we went out to dinner at one place. What's the Temple Bar? That area. We went to the Temple Bar. We walked in, got a seat, which because it was the two of us, it makes life so much easier than when you're doing traveling with two people is much easier for just getting into places and things like that. Then we went to a comedy show around the corner that was like $10 to get in, and then it was just like $10 for 2 drinks or something like that. Like it was so cheap, and it was just a fun Irish comedians, and then like Michelle Wolf did a surprise.
Oh,
set.
nice.
Cool.
So it had that like spontaneity too, of like, wow, this magical moment, like this
too.
person we didn't expect.
And then we're just like, well, where are we going to go? Those were the 2 things that we'd planned for the night, and then we just we'll find somewhere else with some music. Everywhere has live music there. And we'll just listen out to what sounds good. And we went to one, it was packed, walked across the road, and it's just one dude with an acoustic guitar, and he went non-stop for like 3 or 4 hours until the place closed. He just kept going, and easy bar access. I love red ales, so I understand. And it's just that night was one of the best nights of just drinking and eating,
enjoying music and comedy,
music, comedy, food.
Sounds magic.
It sounds like not to take it back to Japan, but they talk about in the olden days, the districts where it's about the floating world, where you're just you walk and everything's so great and perfect, and
the
music
districts,
and you just and you feel like you're floating.
I
love that feeling of just
ease,
out and about, ease, going from
safety.
place to place, safety.
Like that night in Dublin, our hotel was close enough, but we had to walk through a park to get home, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
And so many moments like that in Japan too, where it gets so late at night, and we're walking back to our place, and there was a park there, and I remember just seeing this girl walk into the darkness of a park on her own. I'm like, damn. And this was at 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh well.
It is sad that you're like, whoa, you can do that?
Yeah. I'm like, we should go mug her just to teach her a lesson. We don't need the money, but we're like, hey, this isn't safe.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, now it's not safe.
Yeah, now, it is I mean, Japan especially, businessmen will just if they miss the last train, they'll just sleep on a bench.
Yeah.
And in Dublin,
I've done that in Florida. But I am a middle-aged white man of size I went. There was one night I was downtown. Bars closed at 2:00 there. I got the Uber home, and on the way back to my place, there's a back street, and this guy was taking this back street, and there's 3 speed humps, and I'm like, I can't do that. So I went, pull over here, and we're at a strip mall, a closed strip mall with Dan's Fans, a Mexican restaurant, and just a 99-cent store. And I pull over here, and he's like, are you sure? And he pulls over, I get out, and I just throw up. And he's like, oh, okay. And he pulled over, and I'm like, oh, I started to walk, and I'm like, nah, I can't do this. So I just laid down in the car park, put my head on the curb, and fell asleep for half an hour. Woke up, oh, okay, and then just walked the rest of the way home.
Yeah.
Wow.
In Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. I feel like parts of Florida. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I just figure also too, if you seem a little crazy, then people will go on the other side. As I used to live in San Bernardino, which is not known as a great area, and people will tell me don't go walking around at night. And one night I walked to the 7-Eleven down the street, and I saw someone walking at me the other way, and we both went to the other side of the road from each other. I'm like,
you both knew you shouldn't be there.
Yep. There's a good chance everyone is just scared of everyone, and no one's scary.
Talking about just seem a little crazy. My first time I went to Italy, I went with it was during college and during a study abroad in UK, and two women and I went to Italy together, and they were like, Garrett, because we were all like, we didn't know what we were doing. We were 20, and we were like, well, okay, let's, like, this is kind of scary.
Yeah.
And we were like, we didn't know any better. And they were like, Garrett, you have to protect us. We're going to be in Italy. And so I was like, okay. And I developed like crazy eyes. I developed like this face, like this scary face to use, walking around to look crazy.
Let me get in character.
And unapproachable. Yeah.
And like I used that the first couple of days in Italy, like just like this big eyes and like kind of like this weird look on my face, and. Yeah, nobody came up to us.
Yeah,
but
it's like you maybe missed a bunch of opportunities to make friends.
I think that's the thing too, though. Living in the U.S., like I grew up in Modesto, which is a place like you don't go out by yourself after dark, and it's like, yeah, we tend to. It's like a lot of countries aren't gonna be as scary as here.
Yeah,
like I feel like I grew up thinking other places were scarier. But actually,
that's what they want you to think.
That's what they want you to think.
Stay in the safety of America.
Yeah.
We were in Ibiza last year, and we went out into the downtown area, and then there was like this castle or something up on the hill, and I'm like, well, let's go walk to that. And this is at the very, very end of the season, so there were not many people out at all, and so I'm just like, all right, we're here. The thing's there. There's an uphill this way. Let's go. It's late at night, like midnight-ish, maybe not that, maybe about that. And we'll start walking up the thing, and there's no one around. And there's this one kid on a stoop. And I'm like, that's weird. And we get up the thing, and there was another family, like a mum, dad, and a child ahead of us that we kind of see, kind of go, and then they turn back. And we're like, I give it in. I look down the corner of my eye that way. There's some dude lighting a pipe up, like a glass pipe, so not like an old-timey pipe. And I'm like, all right, so let's not go that way.
Yeah.
And then we go up the other way, and there's kind of some more guys there. And I'm like, no, this looks like a dead end. We should not be that. And that was, I was like, that kid could be all right, there's two people coming up now kind of thing. And we're in these small alleys. And I'm like, that's where I was like, all right, we could be in trouble here. Like, we could have just got boxed in. But luckily we were fine. But yeah, that was I'm like, ooh, these small streets, they're not very well lit. I'm like, we could become Batman's parents here.
But
then we went around, like, we just went back down to where we were. That kid was gone. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Went a little street over where there was more of a main road, and there was just people everywhere. Restaurants and people all open everywhere. And I'm like, oh, okay, we should have gone this way to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, it really is, like, the busy, crowded streets are just, like, they're the way to go.
Yes, yeah.
You want more eyes on the street.
Yes, people good.
Yeah. Shane, is there a local custom you've observed while traveling that you've implemented or wish you'd implemented into your daily life?
Big one, I think in Japan, like the going and eating after a night out, which I know we have like food trucks and stuff here, but they're not as, like in Japan, we'd go out eating and drinking, and then you'd go to a smaller bar and do karaoke and stuff like that and drink more, and then you'd drink more, and then at like 3 or 4 at night we'd go somewhere, and then you could go sit down and have some ramen or something filling, and then you'd wind down from the night, and then you'd go to sleep, and it helps eating before you go to sleep and then not having a drink,
absorbing all that.
It kind of helps you helps the next morning or the next afternoon when you wake up. It's definitely like that kind of thing of winding down your night rather than going out, and then going, all right, and straight to bed. And that's another thing of just safety or whatnot. But there'd be little ramen stalls in the middle of the road that weren't there during the day. But they know that their specific time is from midnight on. Yeah, and that's you kind of sit down, that was a fun night, and blah, blah, eat, and then go to bed. That's a good thing. And I know we can do that at our own homes or whatnot, but
it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's a good. You're still out and being social, but it's much calmer, much quieter. It's much more of a wind down. But then, also saying that too, I don't like to eat after a certain time of night because I'm an athlete. Blah blah blah. So even though I'd go out drinking beer all night and
Yeah.
poisoning my body with calories and alcohol. So
Yeah.
it's double-edged sword. Some contradiction there.
But it still is like it's like an arc to the evening.
Definitely.
Yeah. You need that denouement, like that little
What now?
denouement, like
Yes, Daniel Demond.
Daniel, like that little ending, like that, that like
Yeah.
that is nice.
Yeah, I do like that. That's
Instead of going home and just like standing in the kitchen shoving a Pop-Tart in your mouth.
Yeah. And it
Because
seems
you
to-
want hot, good food.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah,
want
yeah.
like sad kitchen food.
food.
Yeah.
And like we do, there are food trucks, but like, a lot of these things do
Not
close
open
up
that
about
hour.
midnight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Unless you're in like New York.
there's even
That's
like,
like
I
what
think
they do.
in Australia, back in Perth, there was, there's like the Little China area of our club area, which I don't know. I haven't been out. And you right, mate?
He does.
Yeah,
this.
he does this. He's fine.
There was some sit down restaurants that would stay open until 5 a.m, and that was
Yeah.
good. That was a good to go get some Chinese food after
Yeah.
a night out.
In New York, it was Veselka.
Yeah.
Go get Ukrainian food late at
Yeah,
night. Yeah.
yeah,
a
a good-
24-hour
So good.
Ukrainian
A
place.
kebab or something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Australia's good on that. A euro or a kebab.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always after.
Yeah.
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 But you're just eating it on the street, like
Yep.
shoving it in your mouth. But yeah, you feel fancy when you sit down to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's true.
Mm.
Yeah, instead of just like on the street corner with the cars going by.
Yeah.
Shoving it in your face.
Mm.
Okay, we have a lightning round.
Okay.
So we're gonna give you some either ors,
Mm-hmm.
and you make a choice.
Okay.
All right, Shane, you ready?
Yeah.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Hot or cold?
Cold.
City or country?
City.
Beer or wine?
Beer.
History or modern?
History.
Clubs or cafes?
Cafe.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Fancy or casual?
Casual.
Fast or slow?
Slow.
Dogs or cats or cows or monkeys?
Dogs.
Okay. All right, we're gonna take all of these
Uh-huh.
answers. We're gonna take a quick break as we
Okay.
put this all together,
Beautiful.
and we'll be back
Excellent.
with your dream trips.
All right. Hey.
Hey, it's me again. I signed up for Fora. I'm doing a little ad for my Fora. If you want to book a trip through me, you can go to foratravel.com/advisor/Garrett-Palm. That's Garrett, 2 R's, 2 T's, and Palm like the tree. And it's Fora Travel, F-O-R-A, foratravel.com. I'd love to hear from you. Even if you just go on there, take a look around, give me some thoughts, ask me for travel advice. I'm all about it. All right. Hope to see you there. Okay, we're back. We both, Secret Agent Panakukin and I, have been working hard, going over our psychological profiles of you as a traveler.
Okay. Yeah. Good. That's smart.
Yeah.
Any other way, and I'd be like, no.
And we each have a dream trip for you.
Beautiful.
Are you ready to hear your first dream trip?
I was born ready.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Okay, so Shane, I'm going to go first.
Okay.
I'm sending you and Kimmy for 2.5 to 3 weeks
Okay.
to Scotland.
Okay.
Have you been?
I have not. So you're on a winning part there.
Great. Okay. So I'm going to have you guys are going to go around August. I'm going to have you guys start in Glasgow. Glasgow was designated a UNESCO City of Music in 2008, recognizing its rich musical heritage and vibrant scene.
A good year for music. Yeah.
Really good year for music and a really bad year for the stock market.
Yeah.
And what's really cool about Glasgow is they're also home to the Insane Championship Wrestling League.
Yeah.
So you can, do a little bit of studying, seeing how the Insane Championship Wrestling League does
I
things.
actually know them.
Do you?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
maybe you'll go to a show or not. It depends.
I think they'll book me if I'm already there.
You don't have to do wrestling, but you can drop by if you want.
I could sign some autographs, take some,
Yeah,
take some
exactly.
pictures for the boys.
I worked with some of them in Edinburgh. Yeah.
So here you'll be seeing music, potentially watching wrestling, or actively avoiding it.
Yeah.
I will mention everything's paid for, so you don't have to think about finances the whole entire trip.
Okay. Cool.
In fact, we'll pay you like $8,000 to go
shit.
on this trip on top of the trip being paid for. Yeah. So you'll start off in Glasgow, checking that out, going to music, eating your pub food, drinking lots of beer, experiencing the city. I'm going to send you on the Glenfinnan Viaduct, which is the Hogwarts train. So you'll get to go over some cool stone bridges.
Ooh.
And you'll also get to see the Forth Bridge, which is one of Scotland's most famous bridges. And I'll show you what it looks like.
Oh, yeah. Let's have a look at this guy.
Because if you thought the Golden Gate Bridge was industrial, here's the Forth Bridge.
Oh, that's nice. And that looks like the thing of the in the water and out of the water at the same time.
Yeah, it's a bridge in the water and out of the water.
It looks like a mirror of itself.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a DNA kind of helix. Yeah.
That's a nice bridge.
You'll get some like really good bridge action.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm sending you guys to Edinburgh during the Fringe Festival.
Beautiful.
So you guys will have a great place to stay in the center of town. You guys will get to go to a ton of different wild, crazy shows. The city center triples during the Fringe. It's like one of the biggest parties around, basically. So you'll get to stay up late, drinking, eating your kebabs, getting your curry fries, having a great time. So you guys will do that. I also want to mention that in Edinburgh itself, there are a bunch of fun bridges because the city just kept on being built on top of itself. So if you guys are interested, you can even do some ghost tours or plague tours that give you a sense of Edinburgh's spooky history.
Yeah.
You guys can climb Arthur's Seat to get a little bit of nature and get a view of Edinburgh. It's like this big, like not like big, but it's this like kind of like mountain peak where you can see
a hike as well. That's good. I like hikes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you said that because, well, I'll get to my incredible segue. But first, Arthur's Seat is it's like awesome because you can hike up there, but you will see like drunk girls in heels also doing this hike.
Fun. I do like everybody. Some people watching.
Yeah. And I'll say Edinburgh is also full of very sweet shop dogs. So a lot of dogs are tending their shops with their owners. And you'll be eating a Scottish breakfast. And there's also an incredible place called Mary's Milk Bar where they have the lady used to be a chocolatier and now she makes gelato, and it is incredible.
It's some of the best ice cream I've ever had.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yes. So then after that, speaking of hiking and back to my segue, you guys will be going to the Isle of Skye, which is like this very beautiful, like it's the more like desolate region of Scotland. There are like, you'll stay at like inns where you'll still have that amazing pub food and stuff. But the Isle of Skye is really magical because they have like all these fairy circles, like these strange like rock circles, and then they also have fairy pools, which are like just like a beautiful natural like water, like waterfalls and stuff. And it'll just be kind of like that part, like you guys will be winding down your trip and it'll be very dreamy with a lot of hikes and kind of more moody, but with the like warm pub and like music kind of a vibe.
Awesome.
So Glasgow, Edinburgh, Isle of Skye. That's the dream trip I am pitching to you.
Oh, wow. And I get $8,000.
I know.
You can throw that on top. You can throw that.
And I get $8,000.
Okay, well.
Do I get 10 grand?
So 16. I doubled it.
Oh, fuck.
So yeah, this is a bribe off. Who can imaginary bribe you? Okay, so I am sending you. I think we have kind of some similarities here. I'm sending you on a bridge tour. You can see what we've really locked into here. A bridge tour of like the Northern Europe, Scandinavia.
Okay.
So you're going to start in Amsterdam.
Okay.
Have you been to Amsterdam?
I have not.
Okay.
I've never been to the motherland.
I know. You gotta go home. You gotta go home and eat some frites, chips, fries.
Yeah.
Dip them in mayo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And they have a lot of good like.
Is that just because I'm white?
It's what the white people like there.
It's what we all
enjoy. Mayonnaise, yes.
Mayonnaise.
That's the level of spice I can handle.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise.
You are Dutch. Yeah. You are Dutch. They dip it in the mayonnaise that they dip it in there is much better than the mayonnaise that we have here. You'll hit up some breweries. The brewery to IJ, I think it's a brewery in a windmill.
Oh, cool.
You'll eat some vending machine croquettes and they have vending machines with like fresh food in it.
Really? Okay.
Like fresh meals in there, and it's cheap and it's good and it's healthy and it's fun to find. Yeah. You'll stumble upon this. Yeah. You won't even know.
I don't even.
You won't
like
have this plan.
Like it's not even planned.
Exactly. Tons of history there. There's 2 bridges there that I want you to see. So one is...
Ignore Danny's snoring.
Yeah.
It is cute snoring.
Yeah. One is the Neskio Bridge, which is kind of like this cool modern bridge that kind of splits.
Okay,
like this.
I see that. Wait, then did it just drop off to nothing?
I think that's as they're building it.
Yeah. That seems like a high dive.
I know. And I believe this is a cycling bridge.
They like their bikes there.
They like their bikes. Do you like the bike?
It's okay.
Okay, you can walk it if you want.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Or do one of those,
Bikes are probably better than walking.
Yeah. Okay, then you'll bike it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a fun, like, kind of looks like elves built it.
Yeah.
Almost. You'll do that bridge, and then there's a second bridge I want you to see while you're there, the Pythonborg Bridge. Kind of like this red undulating kind of fun bridge. It's not a huge bridge, but it
looks like a roller coaster.
It's unique. Yeah, it does look like a roller coaster. And this is not the last roller coaster-esque bridge you'll see.
Okay.
And yeah, so breweries, a lot of. Do you like museums?
No.
Yeah, you don't really need to see them. Yeah,
but I do like the outside of museums because they're usually in old buildings.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll see like some cool old buildings that museums are in, and also some cool old buildings that like Oudkirk, the oldest building in the city, which is again going to be much older.
Do you know that means old building?
Old Oudkirk?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
you did know that?
He didn't know that.
I mean, I knew.
I did just lie.
I think Kirk is church. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Old Church.
It's Old Kirk's place.
Old Kirk.
Kirk used to live there. Old mate Kirk.
That's everybody.
Who was the first Dutch person?
Kirk.
Yeah.
Old Kirk.
Old Kirk.
And then
history.
I'll send you to Copenhagen.
Okay. Yeah.
Which has a ton of history as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll take you to. You'll see. The bridges you'll see here. There's one cool one that disappears.
What?
Halfway over.
When you're on it?
When you're on it.
Uh-oh.
So it, and I've taken this bridge. It's between Copenhagen and Malmo, Sweden.
Oh, I see.
And it's like a bridge that then goes into
under
a tunnel. Like they built this island and then built a tunnel.
It's an underbridge.
Underbridge. It's one of them
underground
bridge.
It's an underground bridge. Like literal. I took you literally.
Oh, damn. And you laughed at that earlier.
I know. It's real.
Scoffed at that.
But that's how you'll get to Malmo, which is later. So Other things you'll see is like you'll see a couple of castles and palaces, the Rosenborg and the Christiansborg. I'll send you to Freetown, Christiania, which is an area of Copenhagen that is separated from Denmark.
Okay.
So these people took over an old military base and declared themselves a free state. And they've been there for decades, 30, 40, 50 years. I don't know. And one part of it is like an open air drug market because there's no laws.
Yeah.
But like the rest of it is like really beautiful and cool. It's like there's like a lake area where people have built homes along a trail. And they're like nice homes, like on the lake along this trail. You'll see kids getting horseback.
Okay. And they let people just come and go?
Yeah, they let people just come and go. You can't take photos of the open air drug market, but other than that, like you can, people. Do
you have to get your passport stamped when you go in there?
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's like there's like a few openings between barracks that you can go through. And they put on like there's tons of music.
Yeah.
You know, they put on shows in some of the old barracks. Then you'll kind of stumble upon some fun like music events. There you'll eat a lot of street hot dogs. Yeah, they're famous for like really good street hot dogs.
Yeah,
dope.
Is it like a American hot dog or like a bratwursty hot dog?
It's I think it's more like when I was there, I was I'm vegetarian, so
yeah, true.
But from what I saw, they look more American-y.
Okay,
but I think they have like they do like a like it's a bit German-y.
Did you have vegan hot dogs there?
I did not have a vegan hot dog while I was there because all the carts.
Vegan hot dogs are better.
I agree.
They're like way better.
Yeah.
I had vegan hot dogs for breakfast this morning.
Yeah. With eggs or just?
No, just that's all I had. So.
Wow, you must like hot dogs if you're eating them for breakfast.
Nope, I just had nothing else.
Yeah.
Out of all the foods that I had, that was the only breakfasty food that I had available.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you'll have those for breakfast sometimes. Yeah. But they but they're very gourmet. They're street gourmet hot dogs. I'll send you to like the Mikkeller is there, brewery.
Okay.
War Pigs Brews.
Yeah.
Some fun breweries. You'll have what's it called? It's kind of like rye bread with different like fish or like other things on it.
Like top. A sandwich
it's
or like
but it's open.
Okay.
It's open face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called now, but and then there's going to be street buskers and like Nyhavn, which is like this area where the water comes in. It's like a dock, and it's just like all these old beautiful Danny's snoring, but it's like all these beautiful old buildings in Nyhavn.
Okay, yeah.
Like right on the water, you got those reflection of those buildings on the water. They're all very colorful buildings. And then you take that bridge over to Malmo. You'll spend like a day in Malmo. It's like you'll get a lot of like more like Syrian food there. I had like a really good falafel when I was there with the fried cheese. The Middle Eastern fried cheese.
Oh, that sounds good.
Halloumi.
Yeah, that stuff's good.
Yeah, it was really good. And I'm sure the, like the meat, the gyros and the kebabs are really good too. And then I'm going to send you on to, Oslo to see, kind of see some history there and like hit up some breweries and more hot dogs.
Yeah.
This whole region loves hot dogs.
Yeah.
And then for the final bridge, I'm sending you to the Storseisundet Bridge.
Ah, yes, of course.
Which is the final kind of like roller coaster type bridge. Mm-hmm. And this bridge is famous for, it's not a big bridge, but Danny is like, but as you approach it, it looks like you're about to fly off into nothing. Oh. So this is the approach.
Oh yeah. It looks like Looks like a jump.
Yeah, it looks like you're gonna jump.
Evil Knievel across the river.
But then it's
Just
once you get there, it's got this crazy turn on it.
Twist, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's like a whole bunch of bridges through the
cool.
islands here. But yeah, not a big bridge, but it's a fun one.
That's
it's
a fun
like an
bridge.
intriguing bridge.
And where on the planet of Earth is this?
This is in Norway.
Okay. Yep.
So this is like along the Atlantic Ocean road in Norway. So you're kind of going through all of these. Plus, along there, they're famous in Norway. I don't know if they're famous, but they have really good gas station food.
Oh yeah.
Yep. This is one of those places where even at the gas stations they have like hot dogs, but like really good high end hot dogs.
Yeah. So is this trip kind of thing like I'm driving?
Yeah, on that
so
stretch.
it's a bit of a road trip.
A bit of a road trip from
interesting.
Yeah.
And then how am I getting around Scotland?
Let me think.
Or am I I'm in the one area?
Probably train.
There's going to be some
you could take the
train,
train,
some driving, some hiking.
Okay.
Yeah, and some bus.
And some bus.
To get to Isle of Skye, you need to take a bus.
Okay.
Yeah. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, that's what it is. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Shane, those are our pitches to you. You could go ahead and talk out what you're thinking, your thought process right now.
Very much. As I just asked about transportation, and that was one thing when my wife and I did Europe at the end of last year, whatever. Trying to we were going to go down to Amsterdam, but it's just they do not want you to fly with luggage there. It is such a pain in the ass to get everything. Is getting around with the luggage anywhere is a pain in the ass, but I don't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You
know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
going to get a car, but even if I was taking trains or whatever, this is all hypothetical with the $16,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is taking money out of the equation.
Yeah.
That's good. Like if it's like a 2-week thing that I don't know if I want to be in the one place for that long. So I do like the idea of traveling around. And it's so interesting that yours is to the east of Europe and then yours is northwest, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's such a close thing, but there's so much different stuff. Yours has that coziness that I like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
Like a 2 weeks even in 2 weeks in the one place can go so quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially if there's so many activities and and then it does give you that time where there's days where you're like, do I want to do anything? You're like, no, let's just stay in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So that takes, the stress of traveling while traveling out of it.
Yeah.
But then there is the excitement of going to a new place and not getting too cozy. So you guys did very well to not, considering you guys didn't talk to each other about, you both could have planned the exact, have you ever planned
We've gotten close.
We both did did we do a Japan off? No, a China off.
Iceland off. Or is it? Yeah,
I think it was a China off.
Yeah, but I think we also did an Iceland off for Marcy.
I don't think so.
The Marcy's is titled the Iceland off.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So with that, I mean, that's the thing. But you guys have not. They're so different.
Yeah.
There's not much crossover. But it is hit you hit the.
Except we both kind of hit bridges. But
that's we hit bridges.
They're not the same bridges.
No, they're different bridges.
Yeah, they're different bridges.
I like how Shane's like, no bridge is the same.
Yeah.
No, I guess not. None of the bridges you guys did.
Yeah.
And yours were more old industrial bridges, and yours are some a lot different. But then you got the long one that goes between the islands and stuff, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Both food orientated and drink. I mean, Scotland, you don't have to go far to get a drink.
It's no stretch of the imagination what the food and drink kind of situation is going to be.
Yeah, Scotland is a lot of whiskey.
Yeah. I'm not a big whiskey guy, but still, they do have beers.
They do have beers,
They're all there. It's all that.
This is an important choice.
It's so hard.
Choice.
Because you're definitely going on it when we get the funding for it.
Yes, when we get the funding, which we don't have right now. But when we do get the funding, we are sending you on one of these trips.
It's so hard because I do like Viking culture and stuff too.
Oh, I know. And I didn't even
get
into
into that. And
I know.
And I'm like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got like beautiful scenery out
They
there.
do. I know the fjords. I know, look incredible.
Food, the breeze. But then the coziness of Scotland.
Okay, you do have to choose. You do have to choose.
This is the most suspenseful it's ever
I
been.
know.
They're both so good.
We do have to report something back to Ntato.
Yeah.
No, and I do want to do both. I do definitely want to do both, but I guess for me at this point of my life, and the things that I've already experienced in other times traveling, I'm gonna have to go with the Amsterdam Copenhagen.
Wow.
Only because I like, and this is not to say they're the same, that I have been to Ireland before.
Yeah,
So
I pitched a very lateral trip.
Yes.
Yes.
It makes sense. So I feel like your trip could be a little bit more stressful.
Yeah.
With all the,
I know.
traveling and the
Yeah.
But it's stuff that I've not experienced before at all.
Yeah.
So that's
Cool.
what, yeah.
All right. Thank you because I haven't won in a while.
Oh,
It's been
really?
a second since I've picked up a W. But
and then I did like your bridges more.
what?
I do like that. Like modern bridges to me are a little wanky. Like my bridges, I don't need them to be an art piece.
I think it's so funny that you're like, I will travel to see a bridge. It's gotta just look like a bridge.
Yeah.
Do you like old stone bridges? I was looking at some old
stuff
bridges.
like that, which I'm sure there'd be plenty of things like that. But even the red bridge that you're thinking, I'm like, this is like.
You're just talking like turn of the century industrial revolution.
Yeah. But then that other one, like the one that looked like a Matchbox car set, I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's flashy in its own way, and then that one that goes across all the islands and that, I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The islands themselves are old.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it seems to me like the architecture of that bridge is they try to make it blend in. It's not standing out from the islands. It's blending in. It's kind of camouflaged
it's a part
in,
of it.
without being old itself.
Yeah.
And you did find the underground bridge.
I did.
Yeah. That's huge.
I found the literal underground bridge.
And you had the hot dog advantage.
I know.
Yeah. Well, hot dogs are fine. Like it's like I do prefer pub food than a hot dog.
Yeah.
But gourmet hot dogs are pretty cool
hot
too.
dogs.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah. All right. Well, again, we do have to remind you, we do not currently have the funding for this, but when we do, we will send you on this trip.
And the 16.
And the 16K.
The 16K,
I know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
How
I'm
are we
going
to explain this to our boss?
I know. We didn't need to add that to the budget, but we just okay.
I just wanted Shane to feel financially
Really,
safe to have a good time.
Same. I know, because I was like, I'm sending you to a very expensive part of the world.
Yeah.
But that's the one you want to get for free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So here's what I'll do to that. The 16, the 8,000, I'll clear that off the table.
Oh,
for you guys, just for you guys.
Thank you so
hear
much.
that? You hear that, bosses at Ntato?
There you go.
Oh God, that's a relief. Okay, thank you so much. All right, well, thank you so much for coming on, Shane.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is a lot of fun.
And we'll have you back on after you go on the trip.
Yeah, we got to hear bridge reviews.
Yeah,
I know.
I'll be like,
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, I don't like bridges anymore.
Oh no! Like,
It was
can
a
I go on the
phase.
Edinburgh one?
Yeah, I got it at a phase.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye. I finally won.
Congratulations. I've had some time since we record this podcast to become a bigger person.
Yeah, that's what we usually do, the intros, outros later. And I think it's probably for the best because, you are
salty.
You're very graceful now. You've been salty all like week and a half since we recorded this.
Yeah, but now I'm desalted. And I've got to admit, like, I just don't really think I brought it.
That's fair. Yeah, that happens.
You know, sometimes you've got it and sometimes you don't. I don't think I did. I think I pitched some good bridges, but in general... I think I wish I had leaned more into Shane's adventurous spirit.
Yeah. I know we both got so excited by the bridges.
I think he's got to start his own Instagram where he rates bridges. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see an Instagram of him rating bridges, just like a floating head on a picture of a bridge and him pointing to different spots. And
Yeah, what do you think his bridge name would be? Shane.
Shane Haste is his wrestler name. Shane Span.
Shane Span. It's
Shane
perfect.
Span. Yeah. All right. We hopefully we see this Instagram account sometime soon. But until then,
Bye.
bye. Have a good trip.